Hi, I'm Jeff Lippman. I'm the co-founder of SUNx, the Strong Universal Network, and I'm the president of ICTP. I'm sorry I can't be with you this afternoon. I'm very grateful to my friend Alan Sentange for stepping in for me, and also to Thomas Steinmetz for organizing this African Tourism Board session. I want to do three things. First, I want to underline the importance of climate change, the fact that it is the most significant issue that humanity has faced in thousands of years, and the steps that are necessary for our sector to play its role in the transformation. Second, I want to go into a little bit of detail about what we call our plan for our kids, a program which is designed to help the next generation become the change makers who can actually deal with this issue. And thirdly, I want to outline an initiative for an African Earth-Lung Alliance, an iconic climate response program which will not only help to deal with the deforestation in the second largest rainforest in the world, but will also ensure that travel and tourism is playing an important part in that response. So with that, let me start with climate change, and let me show you a brief animation which tries to put the issue in context. Thank you.
Climate change is the major existential challenge humanity faces. If we don't fix it, our grandkids will freeze or fry. The destructiveness of extreme weather is increasing dramatically, and resources for life, particularly water, food, and the air we breathe, are threatened more and more. Fiercer hurricanes, longer droughts, accelerating sea level rises, and massive storm surges threaten civilization as we know it, and with it, starvation, poverty, migration, and conflict. The world established a response path in 2015 in the Paris Accords and SDG 13, with a measured, nationally based, but globally coordinated structure focused on a worldwide 2050 carbon reduction target. Over time, this will be adapted to respond to the scientifically measured changing impacts of climate and weather patterns, the related SDG impacts, and the shifting geopolitical buy-in. Travel and tourism, as a lead global development agent, has to step up to the plate with actions. The more so as many of our core products are in the front line: transport, particularly aviation, coastal facilities, infrastructure, for example, will need radical transformation and support. We are not going far enough, fast enough. We need to be in the mainstream of change. We need to focus on impact travel, measured to manage, green to grow, 2050 proof to innovate. That means using big data and sensors. It means low carbon, renewable energy focused, socially inclusive, resource efficient, cloud connected, and biodiversity conserving. It also means building this transformation into our education systems, from school through university. We can set the path, but it's the next generation that will have to tread it. Business as usual is not enough. Moderate change is not enough. Only total transformation is enough. SUNx, the Strong Universal Network, has been established to make this happen and is building global partnerships under SDG 17 to create this change. Please join us at www.thesunprogram.com.
And this picture of Maurice Strong, the father of sustainable development, my friend and mentor, who was responsible for most of the sustainable development initiatives of the last 50 years, including the Rio Earth Summit, leads me nicely to the second item, the plan for our kids. The reason why we are developing a plan for our kids at SUNx is because the transformation that will have to take place to a new climate economy, a low carbon economy, a resource efficient economy, will take place over a period of 20 or 30 years. It's imperative that we start now. But the reality is, the people who will be faced with the biggest problem are not us, not this generation, but the next generation, our children and our grandchildren. What we're trying to do is to curate a movement, a cadre of smart, bright, young, thoughtful decision makers of the future. Today's graduate students and those who follow them, who might even be in primary school now. And over the next 12 years, we want to develop 100,000 of these young, bright people who understand the nature of the challenges, who recognize the transformation that's needed, and who are not like us, so steeped in our own reality that it's very difficult to make the shifts. We've set up a program which is web-based. We've built a portal. We're amassing information from outside parties. There are brilliant scientists, there are brilliant speakers, there are brilliant innovators all around the world, only a few of them in travel and tourism, who are working on solutions to the challenges. We're bringing that all together in a database, and we've created a portal where the information is made available easily and hopefully in an enjoyable way. And we're trying to put in every country of the world 500 of these change makers over the next 10, 12 years, with 200 or more or less 200 states in the United Nations. That will produce 100,000 people who are attuned to the challenges, who are plugged in to look for the innovation, and who are moving into decision-making positions in our sector. Our program is very low cost for a country. For 50 of what we call strong climate champions, it costs €5,000. And we're appealing to the industry itself and to its long value chain to become sponsors of 50 of these young people. And we believe if we do this, it will do more to help our sector make that transformation to the new climate economy than almost any other thing that we're doing at this moment. This will not replace the excellent initiatives of the many fine organizations and companies who are working on this matter. But we believe the difference will be that it is bottom up rather than top down, and that it focuses on innovation, and it does it using the tools that young people are familiar with. That information will be accessible on mobile phones. and it will be constantly changing and updated. We're appealing to all stakeholders in this sector, public sector, private sector, and even NGOs, to take a look at our program and to see if you have the interest and the passion, because we want passionate people. We want the people who look at Greta Thunberg, the young Swedish girl, and say, this girl's right. We've got to change. What can we do to make that change happen? We believe one of the answers is our plan for our kids, and we invite you to become part of it. And finally, let me talk about a dream, an idea whose time perhaps has come with the growth of African travel and tourism, with the growth of African economies, with the growth of the African population. There is no doubt that this sector will be one of the most vibrant contributors to the development and indeed to the sustainable development of the African continent. And we believe that there is an iconic climate resilience project which could be created in Africa and which could put the attention of the world in a positive sense to the strong future that Africa can and will have. We call it the African Earth-Lung Alliance. It focuses on the Congo rainforest, and it seeks to replace hardwood trees which are being lost, not so much through logging, but through the natural use of the indigenous populations for their cooking. It's called makala in Swahili, and people have been doing it for generations. The challenge is that forest wood is one of the greatest carbon sinks on the planet. Our alliance, where SUNx is simply a catalyst, seeks to bring together a collection of interests which might help to respond to this challenge. Out of the blue, we found our first ally. It's a UN agency called INBAR, I-N-B-A-R, which is established in China and has 33 countries of the South as its members. And INBAR is the agency which promotes bamboo and rattan. And in a dialogue with the Director General of INBAR, it became clear that they see a possibility for reforestation of the Congo rainforest using bamboo, which I've learnt in recent months is one of the most versatile plants on the planet. And then a second partner in this alliance is a China organization called the Chinese Biodiversity Conservation and Green Development Fund, one of the largest organizations in China. They understand that China and Africa are building partnerships in a number of areas, and they see the possibility to work in such an alliance to help on the conservation side. Thirdly, we're working with a university institution in Italy. That institution is undertaking at this moment an entrepreneurship accelerator in the Sudan with the support of the Italian government. They've expressed an interest in creating an entrepreneurship framework for the development of a bamboo and rattan activity to support the Earth-Lung Alliance. We have found African universities, African ministries, the African private sector have all expressed an interest in helping to construct this project. So we've decided at SUNx that this will become our iconic climate resilience program. We'll put together proposals for the European Union, for China interests, for interests in European countries who have specific bilateral relationships. And we'll work to try to frame a 10 to 12 year program. We'll put centers in Europe and in Africa in the heart of the rainforest, and there we'll put our databases. And we'll put strong climate champions in every African country. And over a period of time, we believe we'll create a new partnership, the African Earth-Lung Alliance, that will make a massive difference. And last but not least, as our sector has to account for its carbon, particularly the aircraft carrying passengers to and from African countries, we will try to link that offsetting program into this major African project. It may not be the only climate resilience project in the region, but we think it can be one which brings together a large number of interested parties. And we're looking particularly for the support of the private sector in helping making this happen. In the coming months, you'll be hearing a lot more about the African Earth-Lung Alliance. We've signed an MOU with the African Tourism Board. We're strongly supportive of the activities that are being undertaken by the board. And we hope it will also become a catalyst for helping us to make a massive change and to do it in a way which will give our kids what Ban Ki-moon, the last Secretary General of the United Nations, called the future we want. Thank you for your time and your attention. Bye.